What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Established to Run NBA Injury Analysis Show. Dink, is his birthday. Happy birthday to Dink. Hope he enjoys it and has a great one. But I hope you have a great one too. Everyone out there, let's win some money today with Gary Hartman. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yeah, just a very, very happy 40th to our man Dink. That's a big one. I'm turning 30 in a month, but got nothing on our guy Dink over there turning 40. So, happy birthday to him. Small slate here, 3 games. I'm going to the Garden tonight. Didn't know if I was going to. Can't make anything on these tickets, so might as well go see Devonte Graham, maybe.
Maybe. Yep. So let's start with I got my background here. I'm hanging out in ancient Greece because we may have a Goga party to attend in Golden State. So let's start with that. And yeah, we saw in the fourth quarter, Domantas Sabonis rolled his ankle pretty good after the game. Rick Carlisle called it a significant ankle sprain. He did play through it. But, I mean, you see Kyle Lowry and Garland and other guys sprain their ankles, play through it, and then miss multiple games. So expecting him to sit. Malcolm Brogdon had a 25-minute limit, according to Carlisle, but he negotiated to a 26-minute limit there. We saw him not close. It was actually Jeremy Lamb basically closing his spot. Karis LeVert just went ham in the fourth. He lost to the Lakers 22-24, but obviously they outscored them significantly in a bad loss for the Lakers. Yep. Westbrook didn't play the final, but what do you? We're assuming Sabonis is going to sit here. So I mentioned Goga. Worth noting that we saw last year Nate Bjorkgren used O'Shea Brissett as a center a lot. That hasn't really been the case with Rick Carlisle. They've used Isaiah Jackson, obviously Goga. So those two guys are probably going to handle most of the minutes. How are you approaching this for the front court with just the Sabonis side? We'll talk about Brogdon in a second, though.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, what was the word used by Carlisle? Significant ankle sprain here, right? I mean, it sounds like
he rolled it good
in real time, Sabonis. So this probably isn't the first game here. Obviously, they're without Miles Turner now for a while too. Some really interesting shakeups is going to be happening in that Indiana front court at this point. We have seen them with a willingness to use Torrey Craig at the 4, and when they play small. But I think this means a lot of Goga Bitadze moving forward. Our guy Goga Party, and we've seen him. We're not going to get too much on the DFS side of things here, but we've seen him have some real relevance for DFS purposes. Yeah. Obviously, a high point per minute guy. Pretty solid backup center, I would say, when he gets the opportunity. So, I think he's gonna have a lot of opportunity in the upcoming Pacers games here. And I would imagine, so will O'Shea Brissett, who's somebody that we've seen also have a lot of success from DFS purposes. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how Carlisle kind of shakes out this now, very depleted Indiana front court.
Yeah, a couple of things I'll add is they don't need Craig as much here. We've seen them play Craig against Tatum. We've seen him play him against LeBron last night. Not nearly as needed, too. So more opportunity for Brissett at the 4. As you alluded to, Goga has 116 minutes without the other centers next to him per 36, 17, 11, 1 dime, and 2.8 blocks in that time. He has been a shot blocking machine. So if he starts, and he might not start. I know they really like Isaiah Jackson, and you may almost want to go with Brissett, even though they haven't done it to this point. You want to have a little more switchability against the Warriors. But either way, we know Goga's going to get minutes. I mean, he could pay off whatever his tag is in like 10 minutes. So really excited there. Switching to the backcourt side, we should mention, too, Jeremy Lamb, who's been injured pretty much most of the season. Again, played 25 minutes. He was really big. Got some big shots. Thought his defense was really good. Probably one of the most impactful games he's had in a while. We'll see if he plays in the back-to-back. They closed with him, LeVert, Duarte, Sabonis, and I think it was Craig. Yeah, Craig got kind of over Holiday there for most of the closing minutes. So if Brogdon sits, again, mentioned the minutes limit. Obviously, LeVert's playing the point guard spot. But how do you expect possibly other rotation minutes filling in if Brogdon sits out?
Yeah, really pretty surprising ruling for Brogdon last night. I don't know what they're doing with him. He's kind of was on the injury report forever. Really felt more like doubtfuls, and then all of a sudden he's playing. I want to say I'd be surprised to see him go in the back-to-back, but I just don't know with the way they've been, utilizing him on the injury report. So, and I, kind of a bad run for me. I flag planted LeVert last night, who, as you said, had a big fourth quarter to kind of salvage his night a little bit. But he's obviously the biggest beneficiary is Karis LeVert. He will continue to be. The question is how it shakes out from there. We know that, Justin Holiday will get his minutes. He's never super interesting for me in DFS. I think Chris Duarte, we still saw him get 32 minutes even with Brogdon back last night. I guess he's the guy whose role is seemingly locked in, and obviously without Brogdon, has a real increase in touch opportunity as well.
Yeah, maybe you see Lance Stevenson get thrown in the mix a little bit more, but really not relevant. It's just going to be
Right.
the Karras show. And yeah, I mean, Karras just took over. Carlisle really talked him up. Didn't sound like he had any concerns about minutes limits. Talked about his minutes limits earlier in the year. So we could see Levert, who was the 27 minutes was because of foul trouble. He picked up early fouls really throughout this game here as my TV ran out on pause.
You're good.
Okay. Yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. Anything else you want to add? Pacers are probably one of the biggest things on the slate. I think we
no, just more from a macro view. Like now with Sabonis going down, maybe he's going to be out getting close to the trade deadline here. Turner out. Obviously, Levert's name's been thrown around. It's such a fascinating thing that they're dealing with injuries to some of their key guys here right when they're trying to potentially blow it up. Very curious to see how this shakes out over the next 3 weeks.
Yep. Okay, so let's change gears to what did we write down next? We got no Ayton. We've got that figured out here. Didn't practice. Sounds like he's going to miss time. Rolled his ankle. Not as bad, in my opinion, as Sabonis' ankle sprain, but he's going to miss time. Interesting matchup here against the Mavs. So, yeah, obviously JaVale season. Do you like the matchup for JaVale, and how many minutes do you think you can get in this spot?
I mean, I think we have him for an early run of like 23-ish minutes, which seems right for a median. We don't really see him get up closer to those high 20s very often, both from conditioning and foul issues and just age at this point with JaVale. But yeah, I mean, anytime he's getting on the court as a starter, I haven't looked at his price yet. He's obviously going to be interesting for DFS purposes. We've spoken about Dallas's defense being much better since Christmas, really. And, they're dealing with that, Kleber, Powell type of, front court isn't necessarily the easiest spot, but just from him being on the floor and him being the point per minute guy he's always going to be relevant here.
Yeah, they don't need the post defense either. So we saw kind of Biyombo cutting to him in the JoVal game against Pirtle. He got cut in a little bit. Now they don't need it. They need length to cover perimeter shooting. They need extra length to help off on Luka. So it sets up to me as a much better JaVale spot than we've seen in certain times when he does have the big opportunity. So really like him in relation to where we've seen him there. Obviously, Booker, man, I mean, 48 ball in the last game without Ayton. His usage has been pretty good. His efficiency has actually been down without Ayton. So he'll be getting a very heavy dose of Dorian Finney-Smith, who, if you missed my podcast I just recorded, did the top 10 perimeter defenders, and I put Finney-Smith number 2.
Yeah.
I really respect Dorian Finney-Smith. So bad matchup for Booker, but I mean, he roasts bad matchups all the time. So any other secondary stuff besides the front court guys you're looking at?
No, yeah, I mean, great call on Finney-Smith. Even last night, Fred VanVleet, we knew he was going to play like 800 minutes and still didn't matter. And yeah, I mean, that is definitely worth considering tonight in DFS. I want to see where ownership projections come in on something like that. But no, I just wanted to throw it back to you. I mean, we saw, a couple weeks ago, Jalen Smith really have a lot of opportunity here. And now it seems like he's kind of buried behind McGee and Bismack. So, any chance that Jalen can sneak in here for however much time Ayton's out?
I don't think, unless like foul trouble gets kind of crazy, which could happen. Like Luka, we saw him get to the line a little bit more lately.
Yeah.
Maybe KP draws some fouls too. He's been more aggressive with his shot. Should add to just anything else you want to add? I think we kind of covered.
No, it's a shame for me. He's a Maryland boy, and I thought he was playing pretty well when he was getting those starts about a month ago. So I was hoping we can see some more sticks, but that's all right.
Yeah, good per minute stuff for sure. Just sticking with this game to knock it out. No Sterling Brown, minimal impact. Do want to note that Jason Kidd said 2 games ago they had a 30 cap on Porzingis, and they blew right through that in the last game to get him up to 33. Had a really good start to the game, kind of fizzled in a really defensive struggle, kind of as expected against the Raptors. Just a random side note on the Raptors. I was listening to Nick Nurse, and he was like, the reporter asked like this long question, like, how do you feel about the mental toll on playing a 6-man rotation and all the wears it can cause on them? Are you worried about that? Literally just said nope. So good. Yeah, Sterling Brown not playing. Any of the we'll see a little bit more Bullock, maybe a little bit of Green, mix it in there, but not a lot of big takeaways there.
No, Porzingis without without Ayton on the floor, Porzingis is somewhat interesting here. I don't know if he's going to have any limitations on the back-to-back. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine that. I mean, that's the national TV game too. I think that game should play pretty close, and should be a fun one to watch. So if it stays competitive, I think it'll be heard from tonight.
Yeah, 2 good defenses, clashing styles. Sounds like to pick up the pace. Mavericks do not. They want to play half court all day, and they've been keeping teams in half court really, really well in this run of good defensive stretches here. So we could shift gears to Otto Porter. He is out, no surprise, with the way Otto misses games. And we know that Jonathan Kuminga is going to start. Steve Kerr said that he has that position locked down until Draymond Green comes back. Don't expect him to, expect a lot of leash after he was on a short leash kind of last week, but the 2 games against the Wolves, indirectly a revenge game because they traded that pick from the Wiggins trade. And then the game before that, he was just crazy against the Bulls. So without Otto, there was some foul trouble for Kuminga as well. I think his minutes would have been a little bit higher. But without Otto, we'll probably see Toscano Anderson in the mix a little bit more, but probably more Gary Payton the second, filling in minutes there. But other than Kuminga getting more upside, anybody here that you think could benefit from Porter sitting out?
No, I mean, I guess we saw Bjelica get up to like 18 minutes in the last game. That was with Porter on the floor. Obviously, as you mentioned, Kuminga had the foul trouble. I think Kuminga is obviously the guy you're looking at here. Mm-hmm. In many ways. I don't know what his price is. I'd imagine it's on the rise. That doesn't really scare me, especially in this matchup where, obviously Indiana, we mentioned they'll probably have some go out on the floor, but there might be some times where he could really take advantage of guys like Brissett or Craig if they're going in that direction. And man, that guy what a steal for them, because it's exciting what Kuminga's got ahead of him. I mean, in almost 25 minutes last time, he still had 12 and 10 with the 5 personal fouls. Like, he could really fill up the stat sheet quick. So yeah, I mean, as long as he's starting, I'm really interested in him in season long, in DFS, all formats. And, it helps him with Otto being out as well.
Yeah, he'll have a big advantage defensively, I would say. And as I've been saying, this Pacers defense, they love to funnel shots to the rim, and they don't have a rim protector right now. So, Goga is a better rim protector than Sabonis is, but still, I think Kuminga could go crazy. Bjelica definitely, maybe could be, not the biggest upside, because we never really saw like Kuminga as like a 5 where he wasn't playing next to Bjelica, Looney, etc. But we kind of saw that in the last game. So I think Bjelica's downside is a little bit concerning, especially when you have a guy who can attack the paint like Karras and Brogdon. If he does play, he also drives a lot too. So
I'll say this just to give a little sprinkle of DFS analysis. It's a 3-game slate. Let's assume Kuminga's going to get a lot of chalk. It makes sense to use some Bjelica tonight, especially without Otto Porter. To at least include him in your pool. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, he could definitely get in foul trouble too. Like, he's the typical rookie who could just totally fail you.
Right.
But definitely am into him. Getting to the questionable tags, you mentioned it off the top. Devonte Graham, ankle soreness is questionable. So we've seen when Graham sits, they actually started Thomas Satoransky at the point in those 3 games. But this was before Jose Alvarado kind of picked it up. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is dead right now.
Unbelievable.
So if Devonte Graham, who I think is going to play, how would you look at this from how they fill those point guard minutes?
Yeah, I mean, if Graham's out, as you mentioned, this Alvarado guy really came on the scene. I was out for a couple of weeks when I got married, and I came back, and then this guy was here, and I had no idea who he was. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine it's not too relevant for DFS purposes. The Knicks actually haven't given up mega games to point guards for fantasy points wise, but you never know. It certainly can happen. They actually sprinkle a lot to 2 guard, like Rozier crushed him the other day and things like that. Obviously, some of the 4s, but yeah, for me, I mean, I'm just more interested in Josh Hart having some more ball handling. Obviously, Ingram would have the ball in his hands a lot. I think that's all it really does, is kind of these guys that are comfortable with their ball in their hand will get it more, and then it'll be split between, I guess, Alexander Walker, Satoransky maybe, and Alvarado at that point.
Yep. Yeah, and we'll see. Herb, I don't think Herb's going to guard Randall.
Barrett?
We saw they used Josh Hart on Randall in the last game, and they've generally gone Hart on the bigger, top option. Wouldn't be surprised if they change that strategy there. Herb also on my a lot of my top. I got number 1, Mikal, number 2,
Spoiler
Smith.
alert.
Yeah, but a lot of them are on the slate today.
Yeah. I mean, Luka and Mikal jail for sure, right?
Luka.
And I mean, I guess so. What do you think? Herb guards RJ?
I think so.
Yeah, that's a shame. I'm really hoping to see a good RJ game tonight, but the way the Pelicans play team defense, I think would have benefited RJ. But if he gets the direct Herb matchup, maybe not.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm not confident in that. I think he could definitely get Randall. But like, I thought that when the key for this is like when they put him on Brown over Tatum, I think that really kind of emphasizes how they're more concerned about him being a perimeter guy and Hart being more of like the interior kind of wingy guy.
Yeah,
but definitely. Well, he'll see a little bit of her for sure.
Yeah,
I think just with the Knicks, really quick. Kemba pretty good in his return, especially in that third quarter. It looked like the Knicks were going to take over. Had those 3s in a row that looked really good. Tibbs didn't sound concerned. Talked about putting extra pressure on the defense with the way he was able to create shots. Obviously, Fournier went ham because D'Angelo didn't want to cover him. But Nerlens Noel's out. Any other things on your Knicks you want to add injury wise or maybe something matchup wise?
No, shocker to hear Tibbs didn't sound concerned about Kemba's 30 minutes with his degenerative knee issue. I would like to see them take it easy on him because you know what, like since that holiday time and he re-entered the rotation, he really has looked good when he's been out there. And the Knicks need it in the worst way. So I don't want to see them play him 35 minutes at any point here. Yeah. So I hope he's playing. I don't want to see him back-to-backs. I want to see him playing no more than like 30-ish. But yeah, man, as long as he goes, I think, he could be relevant, especially on a slate like this. Happy to see him back in the fold. I don't know. The Knicks, I can rant about the Knicks for days. I'm really starting to worry or wonder if Obi's on his way out here with the reluctance to play him. I mean, it's kind of getting crazy, but no, I'm hoping for a good game tonight. I think Randall can really explode, especially if he's not having Herb on him in the spot.
Yep, I think so. We'll see there. Yeah, I don't think Kemba's going to have probably a pretty good matchup. I don't think he gets. I don't think he gets Herb. He'll get probably Devonte or Jose or Satoransky or whoever, which is a good spot for him there. So. Question about Lonzo. Just hit this real quick. I do want to. I guess we got some time for the short slate. So he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. It sounds like, but this knee thing has bothered him since the Lakers. So man, Ayo was crazy last night as Caruso really handled the front court, and Ayo was one of the point of attack defenders, which is Lonzo's job. Yeah. So Ayo and Caruso are wheels up big time. Other than that, we do have Levine eventually coming back, so that'll cut those guys down a little bit. And obviously Caruso is freaking awesome, so that'll cut Ayo down a little bit. But any other things you want to add with the Bulls?
No, not too much. I mean, they've obviously, we spoke about how obviously the upside of their roster is really strong, but their depth has been a concern since the beginning of the season. Obviously, this doesn't help. I mean, once Caruso has his, minutes limit gone and has his, sea legs back underneath him, I mean, he's going to be all systems go, I think, for the next couple of months in all different fantasy formats, but just for what they need out of him. Obviously, I think Kobe White, his spot in the rotation now should still be pretty secure. We've seen him kind of embrace this secondary scoring role, bench role at times, and I think they'll need it from him as well to kind of be a point general at times, at least when Caruso's not on the floor or whatever it may be. So for sure.
Yeah, I think Levine coming back would affect White's upside a lot more than the other guys too. Yeah. So Ayo doesn't really run the point like that. He's just kind of, he gets the ball and kind of attacks downhill, which he was awesome at last night and distributed the ball really well. So not too much of a, point guard, but Levine coming back will definitely affect Ayo and Kobe more than it's not going to affect Caruso at all. Like Caruso's just too good. So we'll talk more about that DFS wise going forward for apparently until the All-Star break, maybe longer.
Yeah.
I think we kind of hit anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. Good. Go Knicks. Looks like the 2 TNT games tonight. Well, I guess that Indy Golden State game now with Indy kind of being so depleted might not be as fun, but I think that Phoenix Dallas game is going to be a good one. So enjoy the games tonight. I'll enjoy my time at the Garden. Hopefully Knicks need this win because their schedule is about to toughen up too. So,
is it?
Yeah, I think it gets a little tougher from here. Okay. So,
gotta get this one.
Yeah, gotta get this win. Anyway, happy birthday to Dink. I appreciate you guys letting me fill in, and good luck tonight.
Yeah, thanks, man. Crushed it. If you're not joined us, Established the Run, come check us out. We just ran a new deal for all our stuff, and you get through the playoffs. So it's $179 for the rest of the season. Really good deal. But if you don't want to pay, understandable, hard-earned dollars. But smash the subscribe, smash the like button. We would appreciate it. And tomorrow it'll be myself and Jay Fan Baby.
Nice.
For a big Friday slate. So that'll be really awesome. So we'll catch you guys for that, and catch you later.